Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CFL Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we have our preview of Week 10 of CFL action. We got 4 more games for you. This is going to be either happy or sad week for Rick. His Tie Cats are not playing. They're sitting on the sidelines watching what could be a normal week or an absolute mess. However, let's hope that it's a normal week, because our first game of the week is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers against the Edmonton Elks in Edmonton. This is fresh off after the Elks setting the home record for worst home record ever. For sure in North America. It is terrible.
Except for a number of things.
Yes?
Maybe not changes for you, but changes for the Elks. A,
oh, yes.
New offensive coordinator. B,
that is true.
Trey Ford has been free. 3, Ed Gainey is back. 4, Manny Arsenault is back. Number 5, Gino Lewis is still on the 5 or 6 game IR.
And then the next thing is that the Bombers, after their glorious win, steamrolling the BC Lions, how many roster changes have they have? Rick, can I get a drum roll, please? 0. It didn't show up. It didn't. The noise didn't show up, but that's okay. 0 lineup changes, which is actually really rare. I think we have one guy on the injured list. That's it. So the Bombers got all the pieces. What were you about to say?
I still don't think you guys put up a 50 bomber.
Oh, I don't think we put up 50 points against the Elks. Not because we can't, just because I don't see any team doing 50 points in back-to-back games. However, I don't see this being close.
I can see 40.
Yeah, I can see 40. Yeah, it's hard to even say that this is much like giving the Elks the benefit of the doubt in every aspect. They still get their ass kicked. They are outmatched at absolutely every position on the field. The one exception is punting. Their punter is better than Sheehan. That's it. That is the only position.
The question that lays on the field is,
how many interceptions does Demerio Houston get today? I would like to see a few. That would be great.
Is what Bombers team shows up this game?
You know what the great thing is?
If you remember, they only beat Edmonton 28-14 last game. So,
last time we played them?
Yes.
And how much of our roster was out? Because I don't think Jackson Jeffcoat was in. I know Kenny Lawler was not in. And to be fair as well, that was also at a point where our offensive line was a little shaky. So
wow, they have literally nothing. So I will have to pull this up on another source to confirm that.
Well, anyways, I know Lawler wasn't in. I don't believe Jeffcoat was back yet for that game. But no, that's true, which is why here's the thing. 60-minute Bombers absolutely eviscerates the Edmonton Elks in every conceivable way. 30-minute Winnipeg Blue Bombers wins the game by just over a touchdown. And that's how it is. It's one of those things, though, where if you're the Bombers, I think you want another statement game. You want to make the Edmonton Elks go 0-9 this season.
So just for confirmation, Lawler was back this game, because this was only 3 weeks ago.
Was he? Really?
Yeah.
Against the Elks, are you sure?
Yes.
Shit. Okay, well, I'll be done.
And Jeffcoat was playing that game.
Jeffcoat was playing that game.
Yes. Houston did have an interception.
Grant yet injured or no? I guess Grant's our only guy out
Yes,
right now.
Grant was injured because
Grant's...
you guys had Augustine and McRae
Yep.
doing kick returns.
No, that makes sense. So, yeah, it really depends if you get 60 or 30-minute Bombers. That will kind of determine what you get. But overall, I have Bombers win. What do you got?
Do you really need me to answer this?
Yeah, I do.
Knowing me, if we pick the same team, we're both gonna look like fools if you guys are the first team that loses to the Elks.
No, I'll look like the fool because I'm the Bomber fan.
Okay, well, because you already know that come Thursday, if you guys lose, you do know that my ass is gonna be messaging you.
Oh,
nonstop.
I expect nothing less.
So I just know that if you guys end
Rick,
up
just
losing,
pick a fucking team.
Winnipeg.
There we go. Then we have our next game of the week, which is Friday, August 11th. We have the Saskatchewan Roughriders versus the Montreal Alouettes in Montreal.
Fajardo versus his old team.
And the Saskatchewan Roughriders are going to be jealously looking across the field and seeing, drumroll please, a starting quarterback.
But
Mason Fine versus Cody Fajardo.
The question is,
yep,
which Fajardo do we get?
The I only throw to Austin Mack? Maybe that one?
I have the second worst sacks in the league?
Yet I'm still healthy? Yeah, I don't know. I see the Alouettes had a little bit of an I don't know. They had a really strong game against the Ticats, and the Ticats are a better team.
To look up because I honestly
and I guess also one thing that is worth mentioning that Riders have released veteran receiver Darrell Walker.
Yeah, I seen that today.
That was from earlier today. So you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Montreal wins on pure coaching alone.
So Stanback is questionable.
He'll probably
for
play.
Saskatchewan. Picton's out, Baker's out, of course.
Because if you're the Alouettes, this is a very important game because this is a really good chance to really lock in that second place in the East, especially since Toronto is on a little bit of a downswing in the sense that they lost last game, and they're the issues in the Toronto Argonauts roster are finally starting to rear their ugly heads. So big game for Montreal in terms of trying to step up.
This one is just interesting because it's backup versus starter of last year.
Yep.
Old offensive coordinator in Saskatchewan is now the head coach of Montreal.
That's true. Forgot about that.
Then you have Craig Dickinson against Jason Moss. So this one will be interesting. If they do not stop
Got more faith in
Mac,
Moss than I do in Dickinson.
If they do not stop Mac, then they have no chance.
Yeah, no, he's been kind of that go-to
out.
piece.
Grant is out still.
No, that's true, but I think that William Stanback will probably be ready for this game. He's had a few this year where he's been kind of tentative. And, I mean, if you look at his performance last game, that was really kind of a coming out moment for Stanback where it finally felt like he was kind of back to form. You know what I mean? After a while of just kind of questionable.
The other thing that I will mention is Fajardo did not practice Tuesday, and he was limited Wednesday with his left shoulder.
I see. I think that's probably more of a precautionary thing. I don't know. If you're the Alouettes, you're playing Fajardo against Saskatchewan. Absolutely.
but he may not be at 100%. So you could see Caleb Evans coming in at some point.
If they put in Caleb Evans, then, well, that's where I got more faith in Mason Fine than I do Caleb Evans.
You never know.
Yeah, that's where Stanback has got to lead the charge. Stanback for quarterback. Isn't that right? He'll be like the Chris Streveler. He'll just be doing QB sneaks all day. That's all he'll do. But overall, I'm gonna give this one to the Owls. I'll give this one to the Owls. What about yourself?
Yeah, I don't see Saskatchewan winning this one.
No, I don't know. For me, it's like after, even though they had kind of a clutch performance against the Red Blacks. No offense to you, the fact that you guys had beat the Red Blacks, and then the Alouettes had a little bit more of a decisive victory against you guys with 27 points going up against you guys last week.
That's old news because we got rid of Condell.
So yeah, all is well and good in Hamilton because Tommy Condell is no longer with the team, according to Rick. So yeah, I'm going to give this one to the Alouettes. But let's get into our third game of the week, where we have the Calgary Stampeders versus the BC Lions. So a few weeks ago, this would be like, oh, BC is running over them. However, the BC Lions are on about as low as a train can get for that kind of a roster after just being blown out. And the Stampeders are riding high after ending the undefeated streak of the Toronto Argonauts. So the Stamps got a chance. You know, Jake Mayer leading the league in passing yards. He's also leading the league in interceptions, but we don't talk about that part now, do we? But so thing is Vernon Adams Jr. back in for this game, or are they still rolling with Dane Evans?
Dane Evans has not practiced 2 out of 3 days this week. They still have practice on Thursday.
What about VAJ?
Chances are I could see him starting this week.
You could see him finally coming back and starting this week.
Rhymes practiced Tuesday, but did not practice Wednesday.
It's probably precautionary.
I'm just trying to see.
I will say that the Stamps, they're riding high after that victory in Toronto, and that's something they're going to want to take into this game. But BC has played pretty well at home, and it's one of those things where I have to imagine the Lions bounce back after a game like that, where they got blown out as badly as they did. It's one of those things where I don't know if I can see the Stamps beating the Lions. Like, I can see the Stamps beating the Lions. I don't know if I can see it under these circumstances. In the sense of that the Lions, after last year, like, you have to imagine this team's pissed off. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where now the question of who's going to finish first in the West is very real, as both teams are 6-2. So it's going to be one of those things where the Stamps, the Stamps need this win because they're looking to catch up with Saskatchewan, and they absolutely can. The Stamps, in my opinion, are the better team. They are better than the Riders. But it's one of those things where they're 3-5 right now. So the Stamps need this win, and I think this will be a very tight game.
Even if, speaking hypothetically, even if VJR did not play and Evans still played.
VAJ, you mean?
Well, you know what I mean. I'm still picking the Lions over the Stamps because the Stamps don't have the depth that the Lions have.
No, that's true. And it's one of those things where I feel like one of the important things about the Stamps win was that they caught the Argonauts on the downswing. The Lions, I don't think, are going to be on the downswing. They just got blown out. This is the redemption game. They're at home, you know what I mean? So it's going to be one of those things where they're not encountering a team that was, riding high and is now going to be struggling the way that the Argonauts were. They're encountering a team that should be pissed off. So it's one of those things where I'm going to be taking the BC Lions for that simple fact. But I think the Stamps will put up a fight. I think this will be a close game. I think this will be a lot of fun. But let's get into our last game of the week, which is the Ottawa Redblacks versus the Toronto Argonauts. And the fun thing about this game is that Am I the
I
only
will be
one
in
that
attendance for this one.
thinks here that could actually see the Red Blacks winning this game?
So
Just
I
for
will be
fun?
in attendance for this game. So this because
Ooh.
this has, as much as I hate to say this, I need Toronto to win this game.
Yeah, because you guys are competing with the Red Blacks for this spot, for that third spot in the East.
Because if I'm not mistaken, yes. So they would be above us. So the the good thing is Kelly's playing this week.
Nope, that's true. It sounds like Chad Kelly was a little rattled last week, but he's going to be all right back in the lineup for them, and the Argonauts definitely need that.
Pickett did not practice today. He has 2 more days. I'm curious to see if this is finally the week that Braylon Addison dresses.
I
Like,
see.
if I get that he hasn't played since last year, but if he's not 100%, why take him off the 6th game?
No,
Like,
that's a
this
good
is now
point. And it's going to
three
be one of
full
those things
weeks
where
of practicing.
after such a tight loss to the Riders, where that really kind of came down to a kicking game, you got to be able to put up offense that's not just field goals. So it's going to be one of those things where they're gonna want to really utilize him, I think, to the fullest extent, and exploit that the weaknesses in the Argos defense that the Stampeders did so well last game. So I think the Red Blacks will put up a fight though, but I think with Chad Kelly coming back in and the Red Blacks just not having quite the depth, I think the Argonauts narrowly win this. However, I will say, I do think the Red Blacks put up quite a bit of a fight here. I think this goes within a touchdown difference.
To be honest, with AJ, if AJ Olette plays a full game like Kelly will, I
That's
don't even see
difficult.
this game. I don't even see this game being close.
You don't see this being
I'm
close.
saying like 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Like I'm
No,
saying like
the reason
this.
what the reason why as much as that's true, I think of the fact that what was the
Toronto
one
just
thing the
lost.
Bombers couldn't do against Ottawa? And I'm talking about the whole of that game, not just the second half where we fell off.
You
Run
mean?
the ball. It was the one
Oh,
thing
I
we
thought you were
couldn't
gonna
do
say.
even when we were blowing out of the ball, we couldn't run the ball for shit. Their D-line was shutting everything down. So that's why I will say I think this game is close because I think even if AJ Olette is going to be a big difference maker for the Argonauts, he's going to be somewhat limited, I believe.
I don't know. This game's in Toronto, so I don't see it being.
And are you telling me there's a home field advantage in Toronto? Does that exist?
I mean, with the amount of fans that Toronto gets, it. I mean, you could. It's still. I like. I'm not saying like it gets like Tim Hortons Field, IG Field,
Mosaic.
Mosaic loud, but it does get
A little rowdy.
a little rowdy.
I mean, it helps when your team's doing good, so that's fair. Yeah,
I'm
it's
just I'm just I'm just glad to go to that game with no colors on, and then I can just sit as a neutral team.
you can just go and
And
watch. You could no matter whose blood is getting shed, you can just laugh at them.
yeah, I mean, last time I went to a neutral game in Toronto was when BC was in town, and we
It
all know how that ended.
it was fun, I will say, going when I went to Tim Hortons Field last year and saw you guys playing the Red Blacks. Because I was like, great, no matter who wins, I'll be fine. It's great seeing everyone else like pull their hair out and stress about it, and I can just sit there and just sip some beer.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great. It truly is wonderful. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Argonauts for this last one. What about yourself?
I cannot cheer for the Red Blacks because we cannot afford a Red Blacks win this week.
That's fair.
So I will give my hat to the double blue to get more of a little
Double blue
window.
beats flannel this week. Double blue beats flannel.
Actually, the boats drowned the wood chipper.
Is there anything else you have to add to this conversation, Rick?
No.
No, you don't. Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to stop it. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment in the comment section down below what you guys, your predictions of this week. And also, thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. Where's all the kazoos? Where are all the, you know what I mean? Like the kazoos.
I mean, it is 2
Party.
a.m. Eastern and it's 1 a.m. Central. So, I mean.
So, anyways, thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. And we will see you guys next time.
Touchdown!